So welcome to this special Angry Microwave Talks about the new COD trailer that was just dropped for Black Ops 3. So I'm joined by Braxton.
Hello.
And Mark.
Hello.
So out of us, who buys COD every year? I end up with a copy every year.
Me.
Yep.
I just jumped off playing it.
Feeding into the money train.
Yeah.
Oh,
All of
yeah.
us. So Black Ops 3 is Treyarch's new Call of Duty. Obviously, you got Infinity War, Sledgehammer, and Treyarch, and this is it the first game on a 3-year cycle, development cycle?
Yeah.
Yep.
So we've got high hopes. So we've all watched the trailer. So what do you think first, Braxton, overall?
I think it's just kind of more of the same, and I don't not like the trailer, but it didn't do anything for me. You know, I watched it, I was like, okay, they're really pounding the future card, and you know, Advanced Warfare did that, and I'm not to say, oh, this is just going to be another Advanced Warfare or another Titanfall, but all these first-person shooters are transitioning to this sort of style. You know, you saw Titanfall do it, and that I believe Titanfall was the best multiplayer shooter of last year, or whatever it would have been, a couple years ago now. Yeah, a year before. Geez, time flies. But yeah, I absolutely loved that game. And then when Advanced Warfare came out, it polished a little bit of that, but you know, put its own spin on it. And just watching this trailer, there's a part where the guy is doing a little bit of wall running, and it looks exactly like the mechanics, just directly copy and pasted from. And I know it's not that simple, but just put right into the game from Titanfall. And yeah, I love Titanfall. I'm going to buy this Black Ops 3. You know, it's just gonna happen. Like, I've bought every Call of Duty up to this point every year. But you know, a little bit of franchise fatigue is kind of seeping in with how they're promoting the stuff. And I know we're only 2 trailers in now, but the first trailer, you know, really didn't do anything for me. You know, those sort of trailers with real people aren't really my thing. And just this future card, just over and over and over and over again. It's, you know, take it to either way far in the future where it's like this, you don't even recognize anything, or go back. You know, I'm kind of tired of this same constant time period.
Well, do you reckon, like, you were talking about the future stuff, they've kind of shot themselves in the foot, because in Advanced Warfare and Titanfall, it's so much freedom of movement, and the moment you take that away now, like with double jumps and stuff, and just like being able to move around so quickly side to side, the moment you're grounded is horrible. Like, I've been playing the Exo Zombies quite recently, and we'll talk to zombies later on, but to touch on this, the moment you don't have an exosuit at the beginning, it feels so bad.
It's such a different game. You think, I'll just go up there, and you're like, oh, I can't.
Exactly, and they couldn't go from Advanced Warfare to being grounded again and no special abilities.
I completely agree.
So virtually from now on, all games are going to be like some excuse for it to be futuristic.
You got to take a step forward there for sure. You know, I've been very vocal on my Twitter. You know, after Advanced Warfare came out, I was like, a Call of Duty will not return to how Ghost was. You know, like, even going back, revisiting Ghost, it's almost impossible. You know, I'm so used to that movement, and it really is a game changer. And I think Advanced Warfare was a really fresh take. And I was just reading the Angry Microwaves review. You know, you posted it on your Twitter thing. I read it, and I completely agree. It was a very fresh take on what was starting to become just a stale first-person shooter. And, you know, I think there's a great argument for Call of Duty. It has a super high budget. You know, the game always looks good, and they're always fun. You know, they don't have the best story, but they have solid multiplayer and just this fan base and community to be a part of that is so, so, so cool. And, you know, that's why I'll have a copy of Black Ops 3 that I'll be there at midnight and be a part of that with the community, because you know, that's what's so special to me about this entire franchise, and I'm really excited to see Treyarch grab the wheel again and see what they do with this.
One of the things that kind of came out today, because obviously there was a few members of the press that got to go see it early, had embargoes and through YouTube and stuff. One of them tweeted that it's going to be a lot more gruesome, which is going to be great. Like, Treyarch have always been the top developer for me, and that's kind of one of the things, like the gruesome they've always included. So, like, if we go back to World at War, that was a pretty grounded like World War game. So that's going to be interesting to see how bloody they can get. Because bearing in mind they get given an 18 certificate every year. 18 certificate, I think?
Wasn't it 16 last year?
Oh, well, normally they're like 18.
Yeah, it's normally 18.
So
And
that
you
seems
saw
like
with previous Black Ops games, when you shoot somebody with a grenade launcher, they're going to explode.
Yeah.
You know, shoot somebody in their arm, their whole arm's going to come off, and that wasn't part of Advanced Warfare or Ghosts, which was, that's just kind of breaks a little bit of the wall for me. And I don't mean to sound twisted or anything, but when I shoot somebody in the arm, like, you expect more damage than just like a little dust.
Yeah.
And I think that's something Treyarch has always been very, very good at. From Black Ops 1. That style of gritty warfare and how it jumped around all these different time periods, it felt like those guns were dealing the right amount of damage, and the bodies you would see
the damage on the person.
Exactly, and it was just like that next level of immersion, and I felt like that kind of left with Ghost and Advanced Warfare. They had that arcadey feel, this twitch shooter rather than this, gritty first-person shooter where when you shoot somebody, their arm's going to come off. I'm not here to glorify violence to any degree, but it is that next level of immersion that Treyarch does so well. And so I was reading that in the press release, and that got me really excited.
There were a few bits in the trailer. I saw a few arms and legs actually fly off.
Yeah.
In the campaign, I was like, oh, that's actually pretty neat. Well.
Yeah. Well, we're talking about campaign. First of all, I kind of wish that we're not continuing the story of Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, because when you get into a third game that's linking the story all throughout, I mean, the story of Call of Duty is generally pretty lax, but I kind of wish that they called it something else and kind of started the story from fresh.
Yeah.
Because it's always a bit daunting jumping in. They like if you go to this game, you want to understand the story. You basically got 2 games of backworth to kind of catch up with, so that would have been nice.
Yeah.
But the biggest change they've got is the 4-player co-op throughout, and you can join your friends whenever you want. It was kind of there in World at War, but then it wasn't that great.
And they added progression as well into it. Like an XP progression system into campaign.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see dropping in and out, because one thing that Treyarch have always done personally for me, growing up, like, all my family had PlayStations, we were a PlayStation family, and we always played zombies literally from World at War, the 4 people, and we've met so many people and like built relationships over Call of Duty Zombies because the 4 of you play. So if they manage to build this campaign from the ground up to be co-op, which they seem to have done, having the zombies and the campaign 4-player could be good. And Treyarch are probably the only developer out of the Call of Duties that I would trust to do a 4-player co-op campaign good.
Oh, I completely agree, and personally, I think this is a really good decision on their part. Though I think there are a few red flags that come along with this. Revisiting zombies with the classic 4-player is great, and it's going to offer us hardcore fans a little bit of nostalgia when revisiting these. But that's getting a little old. After I messed around with Advanced Warfare zombies, and I was just kind of done after however many iterations it's been from World of War to. Now.
You're talking about Exo Zombies. Personally, I'm a massive Zombies fan. Yeah. It was Sledgehammer's Zombies, and it missed that Treyarch.
It wasn't the same. It just didn't feel the same.
Like, bearing in mind, Treyarch build their zombies up separately, virtually in a different part of the studio. And like if you see the Treyarch studio tour, they literally got a whole wing. It seemed like the Sledgehammer Zombies basically took the engine and then did the zombies, and literally just like, so we can use this and that and this to make a new zombies, and they were trying to be safe so much to basically please the fans but not copy, that it felt very sterile, like a very sterile kind of zombies, and trying to play too safe. And it lacked the Treyarch shine. So personally, like, all the Zombies fans don't really count on that as a zombies, because Treyarch know what they're doing. But that was one of the sacrifices in going on a 3-year scale, that you would before you would only get zombies every 3 years. So obviously they tried to input some kind of thing. So it's going to be nice to see them go back to the true zombies, and obviously they had the Marvel mid-credits thing at the end, which I was hoping for, and it happened, especially from the time it came, and I was like, oh, it's good. There's a good like 5 seconds.
Yeah.
No, that was great to see. So Mark, have you played Zombies much, or big fan?
Yeah, really big fan. Done all-nighters on it, done all the achievements. Hopefully it continues with the same story.
Yeah, and bringing it back to the co-op campaign side of things, which they have announced, I think the formula that they've built to be so strong in co-op zombies is applying that to a story and applying that to open battlefields and have your 4 friends go to war with you and actually fight, other humans that have guns that are shooting at you. Because I think that was, I never thought Treyarch's iteration of zombies got stale, but, I thought Extinction was cool. What Ghost did, that was really neat. That was more daring and risky than what Sledgehammer did with their zombies.
It was all right, but it got stale after a while.
See, that's
I
the thing
agree.
with the Infinity Wars and Treyarch's
easy
thing. Yeah,
it was quite easy.
They're all trying to replicate the zombie success.
Yeah,
but it's quite tangible.
They just couldn't get it right.
We'll go back to the trailer in a minute, but they just keep trying to get the Treyarch magic, which they haven't been able to get. So that's going to be great to see. But one of the things you talked about then, Braxton, was the giant open maps, and that was one of the things that they've emphasised in the press release.
Yeah.
It's gigantic open maps now, rather than the typical on rails kind of thing. They seem to have gone for a more Battlefield kind of approach for a campaign, would you say? Because Battlefield's always been, there's this giant playing field, go to be over there. So that's going to be interesting to see how that works with 4 people in a giant surrounding.
Yeah, and out of all the things they've announced, those larger maps and those larger battlefields is the thing that I've got most excited over. You can point fingers at Call of Duty for being very linear, especially its earlier iterations of it. And I think its campaign has always kind of struggled with that. Granted, it's a first-person shooter, but we have seen first-person shooters executed much, much better in an open-world environment or a more not so shoot down this hallway, follow this guy. You can't walk in front of this guy because he's the one leading you. Call of Duty's always been fun, but it's never had that total sense of freedom. You're always the guy tailing behind. You're never the one in
You're
front of it.
always following orders, basically.
Exactly. Now and that's why I love Battlefield so much, and I do think Call of Duty's campaigns are leaps and bounds better than Battlefield's. I haven't really enjoyed a Battlefield's campaign. I think they're mediocre.
I'm gonna say.
Anyway, that's not what topic.
Off topic.
Yeah, off topic. But anyway, bringing a little bit of magic from Battlefield's bigger maps and larger environments in its single player into Call of Duty's pitch with all of its solid mechanics and presentation with story, I think it's going to be. We have a really good chance of this game being really great.
One of the things that worries me about the 4-player co-op is that Call of Duty is known for its popcorn big moments. And when there's 4 of you trying to basically take like skydive off something or literally go to a building, that could easily be ruined by 4 people being there, because you'll probably have a thing where 4 person goes to 1 person's view and all that happens. That's the thing that's worrying me about the 4-player co-op, and that's the only thing that is worrying me about it.
Yeah, and speaking of... Oh, go ahead.
So that's the thing that's worrying me. Like massive cinematic moments are going to be lost because they're going to try and cater for 4 people. And you can't cater for these giant spectacles that you normally see that Call of Duty is known for if they're trying hard to include all 4 players. I
totally agree, and that's my biggest concern with really this entire package. Is this is obviously the first little bit of marketing and promotion they've done for the game, and this is the first step they're taking, pushing this 4-player co-op campaign. So this is not something they're going to announce 3 weeks before launch, saying, "Hey, you can hop on with a couple of friends." This is going to be a huge part of their marketing, because that's the first thing they're talking about. Yeah. And that really does concern me. And if you read in the press release, whoever it was talking about how they're going to structure missions, and you can level select later missions with friends, and you can skip around, but that's going to take away from the story. But the focus of the whole thing was that you're going to be able to play Call of Duty with your friends in these big environments and skip around in the story, which concerned me is there going to be a focus on narrative in this game, or is it going to be just throw these players into a sandbox, shoot the bad guys? And if it's fun, then it's fun, but...
What about replayability, though? Because I don't exactly go back and play a Call of Duty campaign again. What can they add that will make you want to play again? Well,
the 4 players seems to be something okay now, but you're talking about the marketing, Braxton. One of the weirdest things that shocked me today was confirming the zombies was there, because normally in all the previous games it's been will it be there, will it won't be there, and you only know 2 weeks before a game when the game leaks that there's going to be zombies, or they'll hinted it a month before.
Black Ops 2, didn't they drop a trailer just before the game came out for zombies?
Yeah, literally just before. So it's going to be.
No one expected it, and it was.
So it seems
great.
like they now understand how big the zombies is, and that they're going to make that one of the main things. It seems to, like in terms of what will probably be more important, it seems multiplayer zombies campaign at the moment, as in what they'll be focusing on the marketing wise. So that's going to be interesting to see.
And the thing that confused me about this whole thing is, like you said, how they're putting out the zombies and the co-op and the campaign, and obviously we'll get multiplayer, all in their first step. What is next? What do they have up their sleeve? And, personally, I think they have something really big up their sleeve to hold on to, because they just give us zombies, the confirmation of this huge co-op option. That's something you pitched a month before launch to get people really on the hype train. So what are they going to have that month before launch? We know Call of Duty is going to sell well, but it is on a little bit of a decline. What are they going to do to get fans pumped up right before, and newcomers? People who just see, okay, there's a Call of Duty game on the shelf and they're not following it. What are they going to pitch for them? Because I think the multiplayer is more as it progresses, it becomes more accessible. I think Advanced Warfare was a little bit of a hard learning curve, but after putting in just a few hours into that multiplayer, that if you know how to use your exosuit, you're pretty much the
Well, E3 is only about 2 months away now, and you know what I would love and what would really get me more pumped about the game? It's not seeing a campaign like Vertical Slice. I would love for them to come out with preferably the zombies. That would be great if they came out with a zombies demo at E3. Probably won't happen because
just something different.
Yeah, because Activision are like the safest people in the industry at the moment. But that would be so great if they came out with something that was different than a Vertical Slice. But also, another thing in the press release that they're really pushing is the customization of the multiplayer and the campaign. So it seems to be that in the campaign you get to choose about your character and maybe a few perks and stuff. But I don't like that in campaign, because I love to jump in a campaign and just pick up a gun and change it as I go, and not have to worry about leveling up to get to things. What do you guys think about
that? Just reading this, it kind of reminded me of Battlefield 4's leveling system, and then a little bit with what Battlefield Hardline did. I know we're comparing these two a lot, but it's their main rivals, and I think it's good to compare these two because it escalates others' competition. Those multiplayers know how to progress really well. Battlefield's 4 multiplayer progression was actually, I thought, was horrendous. I think Battlefield Hardline fixed that really nicely, and Call of Duty has always had a great progression in their multiplayer. Now, carrying that over to their single player, I'm not sure how I feel about that just yet, but the whole thing that it comes down to at the end of the day with this reveal, Treyarch knows what they're doing because they have produced 2 of the best Call of Duty games. I think it really reinvigorated the series, because after Modern Warfare 4, they stumbled a little bit with, 2 and 3, and especially Ghost. I actually really didn't like Ghost. But where was I going? Treyarch knows what they're doing, and I think they're not going to disappoint fans with all of this. And how they alluded to how you're going to get gear in the campaign. Personally, I feel this game's going to drift away from any sort of narrative and any sort of Troy Baker being your main character. I think that in coming to Call of Duty campaigns, a lot of people just want to shoot, the enemy. But I know there's a lot of people like me, and I'm sure you guys, that want to come in here and get lost in whatever's going on and go after Kevin Spacey. I thought Advanced Warfare was one of the better Call of Duty campaigns. I enjoyed it. It was ridiculously silly and stupid, but at the same time, it was fun. And I think a lot of people didn't like that story. They trying to take stuff seriously and then shooting through hundreds of waves of enemies. It doesn't really contextually match up. So I think what they're going to do, and actually this game is kind of almost put the story on a back burner, have an intro cinematic, tell you why you're killing these people, and then just let you off the leash into these big environments. And I think that's going to be a better pitch rather than have, we've got the best story, we're going for Game of the Year awards with our story, because let's face the facts, Call of Duty hasn't been known for that since Modern Warfare 4.
Well, that kind of lets me down, because it was a perfect setup from the start if it kept a normal campaign, because you've got the large multiplayer with your big teams, then you've got the zombies with the 4 players, and then you've got the campaign, which is you. At the moment, they seem to be going obviously co-op throughout. That's going to be a shame, but it could work, like I said. But it should be good. Have you got any other thoughts about it? If you want to get out, Mark or Braxton?
I wanted to kind of go over what you guys thought about the beta with the whole pre-order thing. And how you guys
I completely forgot. That because let's be honest, every game that comes out with a beta normally ends up releasing still being a bit buggy. I know I shouldn't say that, but that does seem to be the way.
That's a bit of a generalization. Yeah.
It kind of is though. Like you get this kind of like vibe that it's not finished even when it is. Like Battlefield 4 had a beta.
Yeah.
And look how that's turned out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think same with Hardline too. I mean, that engine's really struggling, and that's a whole other topic entirely. But I'm really worried about Battlefront, and how it's gonna handle that engine. Because if it runs like the past 2 Battlefield games, oof, Darth Vader's in for some major jittering.
but it also kind of seems that I don't know what. Was there a date on the beta, or is there not?
Nothing so far.
I just said pre-order. We got a release date though. It was November 6th.
Well, no surprise there. It's always like that.
Yeah.
But it just seems like a beta kind of for games that I play. It normally kind of takes the excitement of playing it for the first time away.
Sure.
And I know that it's like a kind of good thing, but I kind of wish it didn't exist in a way because it's like the excitement of going to events and experiencing there for the first time. And I also think that they may lose some sales from doing a beta, especially with Call of Duty, because.
Well, yeah, I agree, and I'm kind of confused with how betas work, nowadays. With for example, the crew beta. I don't know if you guys got into that. That beta was not good. I was just like, there's just literally every turn you took in the car, it was just red flag, red flag, red flag.
And did you play the game?
No, because the beta was about 3 weeks before the game launched. I was like, there is absolutely no humanly possible way this game can be fixed.
It's what I mean.
It'll never be a good game, and then it came out and got awful reviews.
So with Call of Duty when it releases, and the regular Joe sees it as a beta, are they going to play it and then cancel their pre-order saying, oh, well, it's not that good. If it isn't that good, I've got last year's Call of Duty, which feels the same, looks the same, and I haven't got to spend $60, 40 quid on a new game. That could so easily happen with the regular Joe, which, let's be honest, is Call of Duty's biggest customer. So it's quite a risk. It's quite an unnecessary risk, I think, they're taking, because people are going to play it and think there's hardly no difference in the feel if that is the case. So it seems like quite a big gamble to make.
Sure, I think betas are actually a good thing if done right. This pre-order to get a beta, I don't think that's a good thing. And
we can cancel a pre-order on Amazon easily now. Everyone knows what pre-order to get.
Right, yeah. And I mean, is that really, I don't actually believe in pre-order bonuses too much. If it's like maybe a little bit of like cash in-game or something, I think it really depends on the game. Like for Grand Theft Auto, for example, when you pre-ordered that, you got like a little extra in-game cash. That's fine. When it's like extra weapons for multiplayer that are more high-powered than other people's, it just gets to the point where it's too much. And yeah, I don't think pre-ordering your games is a good thing necessarily, unless there's like, it speaks to you. You get a little extra collectible. I know they have retail exclusives and that kind of stuff. But remember last E3, or it would have been E3 before last E3, where they had the Battlefield Hardline beta that week, and PS4
that was great, though.
Yeah. See, that's how I think you should release betas. 1 week, give codes out during events or something. Yeah, there's going to be people that miss out, but that's what a beta is for. If you want to, don't miss out. Buy the freaking game. So I think they should do that, something like that, because I thought that was genius with what Visceral Games did with that beta.
I've now just read something that I didn't know about on the Amazon page, because I was looking for previous gen copies, which I'll come on to in a minute. But the zombies are coming with a new XP system, which I don't really like. The best thing with the zombies was that everyone started at level 0.
Everyone starts equal. Yeah.
Everyone starts equal, and you haven't got to worry about it. With that XP, that could easily make it...
that could be really unfair.
Yeah, that's not good.
What about people who grind for it, and then they'd start off with something possibly great against
it's kind of like
pistol?
Well, it's kind of like Destiny at the moment. I want to get back into Destiny, but all my friends are way higher levels than me. So I can't join and play their things. I don't want that to happen with zombies. The best thing is that you could play with like your new mate who's got it, and he could be equally as good as you, because you're not worried about the XP. So that kind of worries me a bit.
That really worries me. I didn't know that. And if it's kind of how I'm imagining it, where you hop into games with super high level players and you're just shooting a little P90 at them, that's not gonna be good. Oh, that really worries me. And I know it's kind of a little bit of a niche thing, but people who play split screen, how Call of Duty's always had that option for couch co-op.
Yeah.
How's that going to work for zombies? Because if there's guests, if they're not signed in on the account with their own save file, because I know with Borderlands, the Handsome Collection, I have that. Me and my brother have been playing a lot of that, but every time he signs in, he doesn't have an account, so he loses all of his progress. So when we're in these higher end missions at the end of Borderlands 2, he can't even play. It's impossible. So what about that? What happens when I'm level 39 in zombies and we want to play together? I don't know about that.
It is definitely a worry that they're doing, to quote them, it's a full XP-based progression system for players that add depth and replayability, which basically hints that you've got to get extra guns or something. Because replay basically up, which is a shame. But the reason why I was looking at Amazon's page for this is that I was having a conversation before about whether it was on previous gen, and Amazon don't list it for gen, which is quite weird because it's just quite an odd thing for Activision not to go after the money for that. Or maybe they've seen last year that the sales weren't particularly high and that they can make the jump.
It does limit them quite a bit, with the old consoles.
Yeah, and I think it limits maybe profit for Activision, but I also think it limits the developers too, because if they're having to develop for lower gen consoles, they're going to have to sacrifice parts of their game. And I think
kind of.
Yeah, to a degree. I mean, lower textures or whatever. But
and they have had to sacrifice a lot of stuff, being honest.
Well, it kind of and kind of not recently, because Titanfall was ported backwards, Call of Duty was ported backwards, so we're not particularly worrying about it. But it just seems like they're taking too big risks. I would have preferred to either had it on last gen, if it doesn't affect me, and no beta, or beta and not on last gen. So it just seems a big risk not to. Financially, you're risking not putting it on previous gen and doing a beta, which for Activision is quite a risky choice for them.
Yeah, and I think for a lot of people, for a big majority of the casual buyers for this game, I mean, to be honest, I don't know how many of them know exactly what a beta is. I think we're getting around to it as a game society, but 2 years ago, I'm pretty much guarantee you that if the Call of Duty, Black Ops 1 or whatever had a beta, people would be like, what the heck is this? So I think people are getting around to it, but how long it's going to be, maybe a beta is a weekend. I think if it's any longer than that, however long Destiny's was, that was way too long. I almost got burnt out on that game just from playing the beta for literally 50 hours. And now I think it was a week and a half, or so, it was something insane like that. And you just got to be smart with how long you have these betas open, because if you have them open for 2 or 3 days too long, you have lost a big audience there. So
wasn't Halo's one 4 weeks long? The Halo 5 one.
I'm not an Xbox guy.
I think it was 4 or 5 weeks, but then every week they brought out new game modes and maps, to keep it kind of going.
It can be irritating, but also another interesting thing with this beta, it's not console exclusive, which I'm shocked at. I thought Xbox One would have been boasting from the beginning that they got it early. No, it's not finished. They re-signed the DLC for 3 or 4 years last year. But it just seems to be a shock, which is it's a nice refresh thing, not having Xbox on it, which they still may do. But so anything else again?
No, I think that kind of wraps up my thoughts on it. I'm excited to a degree. I'm not gonna, I'm gonna go get it, and I'm gonna hopefully enjoy myself. But I'm starting to reach a little bit of franchise fatigue, and if they don't change the game as much as Advanced Warfare did, Advanced Warfare really set the bar for how fresh Call of Duty needs to be to keep going. If it was going to be a grounded shooter every year, you're really going to run out of that. And, now you almost see it's jetpacks again, really? What's going to be next? When are we going to run out? When are we going to run off of that? Where do you go? Are you going to fly? I just think they have to do a lot more, and I'm really excited to see where their marketing is going to go. I'm almost more excited to see how they handle their marketing in the actual game, because they've pulled they've presented all these cards, day one. What do they have up their sleeve next? So that's what I'm most excited about.
Yeah, well, I'm really excited. Literally, I keep finding things out because it's only broke a few hours ago. I'm reading through the Amazon page now. The biggest thing I'm excited for is that they're now offering a full story zombie experience. Is the way that it's worded. So maybe that zombie storyline game that everyone's hoped for may be happening now. So that's the thing I'm most excited about. And also the 4-player co-op may bring back some of that magic, which would be great to play with friends with. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. Gore and zombies is virtually what I wanted from it, and they seem to be delivering from the start for this for me. Mark, what do you think?
Honestly, every year Call of Duty is just a game I enjoy with my friends. Hopefully, if they put enough new things in, we'll enjoy it. That's all I really see it as, just an enjoyable thing to do together.
Yep.
Cool. So thanks for joining us again. You can find us everywhere if you search Angry Microwave, Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, YouTube, everywhere. So Braxton, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Braxhaugen, and you can visit my website where I write about games every week. We're in the process of starting my own podcast actually right now, and you can find that at braxtonhaugen.com. So, and then at Twitter again at Braxhaugen.
And Mark?
You can find me at Twitter, Griffman95.
Cool, and I'm at Seymour and CMWORIN. But until next time, bye.
Bye.